Hey, it's Cody, and today I have Cave of Sybil Oracle. This deck just arrived to me, I think 2 days ago, maybe. I had backed this Kickstarter, and I have been impatiently awaiting its arrival. Now, if you haven't heard anything about this deck, this is by Tierra May, who is the same creator as the Ritual Tarot. So if you are familiar with that deck at all, there are definitely similarities between Cave of Sybil and Ritual Tarot, but they're definitely not. I wouldn't call them like decks that go together, right? This Oracle deck was not created to be worked with the Ritual Tarot specifically, if that makes any sense. I'm so excited for this deck. You know me, I can't wait to record an unboxing. If I can't record right when I get the thing in the mail, then there's just not going to be an unboxing. So this is not by any means a review or anything. I have not yet worked with this deck. It's just kind of some initial thoughts and impressions. So we will get into it. It came in a nice box, which I probably should have grabbed, but didn't, so fuck it. We've got a sigil on the back here. Hard 2-piece box, if anyone cares. It's just black on the inside. Okay. I have seen some strange opinions of this deck. I've seen some people say that they weren't sure what to expect, or it wasn't what they were expecting. I'm not really sure what people were expecting. They're saying, somebody I guess said that it doesn't work as an Oracle deck. I mean, I think for me it was kind of clear from reading, the Kickstarter stuff and everything. This wasn't quite like a normal sort of Oracle deck. This is definitely not the kind of deck you can just pull right out of the box and start drawing cards from. This is one of those decks that you're going to have to work with and sort of form a relationship with, and really start cultivating your own meanings for the cards, because I'll show you the guidebook. I'll show you how it is. I was not surprised by this deck. It is actually exactly what I had hoped it was going to be. Yeah. Okay, so here we have Cave of Sybil Spellbook. Now, you know what? Let's look at the cards before we get into this. Well, actually, no. First, I want to say, there is information at the beginning of this a little bit, and there's a part in here where it says that this deck was not intended for healing. It's intended for transmutation. And I think that's a really important distinction, as we kind of look through this deck. I do want to throw a couple of, content and trigger warnings here. There is nudity in this deck. It's not sexual. But there's also, like, not necessarily violence or gore, but certainly, like, dismemberment. More so in the way of, like, collage. These cards were made with analog collage, so they were not digitally made. They were, actual paper, adhered to a backing, I guess, of it. So yeah, it's very similar to Ritual Tarot in that way. Okay, so the first thing, I thought I was going to have an issue with this. We have to talk about the card titles. Now, initially, I guess there were not going to be titles. But then, I guess after some sort of discussion, she did decide to go ahead and put titles, but they're on the backs of the cards. And first I was like, man, I think this is going to be the thing that irritates me the most about this deck, that there's the titles on the back. But actually, I know exactly why it was done. Like, I actually would be irritated, I think, if the titles were actually on the fronts. Now, I'll show you why. Okay, here we have Lure. Now, this is handwritten here. Now, here is Lure. I love this. Pretty sure this is sort of in reference to maybe Plato's Cave. Absolutely beautiful. We'll just put these guys over here. Alright, here we have Hex. These are just some really powerful faceless, some just very powerful card imagery. Like, the way that the guidebook is, we'll just find you one here. I'll just bust it open to a random one. Okay, here is trial. Now these are words cut out. Mercury mixed with your blood upon the cutting flood of deep rock strata. Now this is the way that the guidebook is for this. Here's feral, furious blood, blazing fever of the damned, sprawl to ruin on forest ground. So it gives you sort of maybe like a jumping off point, but it's not going to hold your hand while you're doing this. Do you see what I'm saying? Here is pestilence. Mother. Now the cardstock on this, it's thinner than the Ritual Tarot. I probably should have grabbed. I should have grabbed it, but I didn't think to. These are larger cards than like a regular old tarot deck. Here, let me see what I have here. Okay, I have a card here from the Rain Shadow Tarot. It's a tiny, tiny bit bigger maybe than like a regular card. So here is Womb. Now we'll hold these cards up to each other. Here, we're definitely bigger. I should have grabbed the Ritual Tarot. Fuck. But I didn't. It is, I think the cardstock's a little bit thinner, and it's also, like, slippery. It's that slippery kind of cardstock. I'm hoping that will go away a little bit, with some wear. What do we have here? Ego. Vanity. Communion. Ancestor. Something about this deck almost reminds me a little bit of Soul cards, which you know I love to hype up on this channel. Here's Law. I love Soul cards in that they don't give you any sort of direction. This deck does give you a little bit of direction. Here's Bind. But not so much that you feel trapped. I mean, these are very, very open to interpretation. And this really isn't, I don't want to say it's not a beginner deck. Here's Empire. Because I think that a beginner could deal with this. It's just, I think that this deck has a very specific audience for, as far as the kind of people who are going to appreciate this deck and who are going to have the, not even the patience. Here's Wound. Not patience necessarily, but just the right kind of practice maybe or thought process for this deck to be helpful for. Okay, I will admit, I looked at this for a while and I was like, what the hell does this say? Is that say tarot? No, it's taboo, so excuse me. This card almost reminds me of an Emperor. Here's Invader. Dawn. So if you know of or have the Ritual Tarot, you can definitely see that this is Tierra May's art style. It's just a much darker, here's Birth, a much darker iteration of it. From what I read in the guidebook, Fates, the art for this deck was initially not intended for like the public to see. These were created in like private journals and notebooks and things, and then it sort of coalesced into the deck that this is. Here's Becoming, which I can see it has a very personal nature, and sometimes that sort of bleeds through in the energy. Like, I can feel that this kind of almost wasn't for everyone, and I still think very much that it is not for everyone. Here's Other. Because, yeah, I think that's partially what gives it its power, but it's probably also, Gatekeeper, what is going to turn people off of it. If that makes any sense. I don't know. I'm just rambling. Here's Wayne. Talisman. When I was waiting for this deck to come in, I was hoping this would make me feel like a beast crouched in a cave. And you know what? It does exactly that. Vision. Ooh. Sabbath. Conjure. Scry. I'm sorry, but this looks like the, oh my god, what do they call it? You know, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, that like blue mask that that Zuko dons to try and save the Avatar. That's gonna fuck me up. Tribute. Now there is a little, oh my god, I think it's called a zine. It's like a little stapled together booklet, and fuck, I meant to grab that. You know what? I just started this video without like anything prepared, huh? Here's Farrell. And it's by Leo Droon, and it's called Great Lady Under Earth. And I read that, I got that, I don't know, a year or so ago, and it was so powerful to me. There's Messenger. And I was like, you know what? When I saw this deck sort of being created, even before the Kickstarter came out, I was like, you know what? I bet this deck is going to feel like that, and it does. It does. Saturnine. It is everything that I had hoped, and more. Like, the Wake. There's like a horror connected to this deck. It's like looking in a mirror, but seeing yourself fucked up. And I understand that. Don't get me started on the mirror thing. Here's Mast. Everything is a mirror of the self, and, you know, really all cards and the meanings that you ascribe to them are mirrors of the self. But this is just so, in such a twisted way, Fortune, that, I don't know, man. I know that I'm just going to have a time with this deck. Like, it is going to be Horde. This is going to be one of those decks that's like, it's going to have, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Bloodstone. It's going to have a place in my, like, deck, Horde, that no other deck has or is going to fill. And this is definitely, maybe Shadow Work, I don't know, Origin. It's the kind of thing that it's going to be irreplaceable in my collection. And I think for the right people, there's Unmade, it's going to be that. Look at the fuckery of, like, the arms just not, I don't know. Outcast. As I forgot how many cards are in this deck. I think it's 53. I mean, this isn't some thin little Oracle deck. I feel like I got one recently. Oh, excuse me. I guess I could turn this over. Brew. Well, I say recently. Several months ago, probably. And it had like 33 cards or something. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So this definitely goes for it as far as the amount of cards in it. Here's Skinwalker. Oh. Conqueror. Harlot. Repeater. Cure. Cunning. Omen. Cord. Alchemy. Here's the Sybil card. I believe this was a stretch goal. Trial. And Gather. This is my favorite card. Something about it makes me so deeply uncomfortable. and it just makes me keep looking at it. Like, okay, when I was a kid, we had scary stories to tell in the dark, and there's one of, like, I don't even remember her name. Some girl with a really big, wide mouth. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but she was so horrific to me. I would sit and just stare at her. And that's kind of what this card is to me. Like, it's called Gather. I think this is like a tooth with gums. I don't know, man. Something about this card gets me. Yeah. I am very impressed with this deck. This is, as I've already said, everything that I hoped it would be and more. I'll give it a shuffle here if I can get them to line up. Oh, Jesus Christ. Excuse me. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do that again. Delete that one. Pretend like it didn't happen. I'm not going to edit this video. I don't ever edit my videos. Like, whatever happens, happens. So, I don't know if you could see the way that it was just sliding all over itself. I don't really want to wear... No, you know what? I was going to say I don't really want to wear these cards, but, like, actually I kind of do. I feel like it would add to the deck to have the cards kind of be fucked up. Okay, some part of me wants to dig and bury this deck and then dig it back up. Like, I don't... Is that a weird thing to want? It feels like it wants that. I might actually do it. Like, I know that's crazy. I don't remember how much I paid for this deck, but that's a wild thing to want to do with the deck, you know? But it kind of feels like it wants me to do that. You know what? Let's ask it. Would you like to be buried? Oh. And dug back up. What do we have here? Fates. Okay, I do want to say the guidebook actually is not organized in any way. It's not, there's no numbering system. It is not in alphabetical order or anything. I understand why, as it's kind of trying to, it's refusing, you know, things like order. But it kind of makes it a pain in the ass because now I have to go through here and look at all these and see what is what. Oh, there it is. Bone rides down upon the shore to the burn and turn of time unborn. You know what? Yeah, I think it does in fact want to be buried. So I will do that. I will definitely wrap it in a cloth of some kind, but it just seems like the kind of thing to do. So anyway, yeah, that was Cave of Sybil Oracle. If you have any questions, I feel like this video was kind of all over the place. If you have any questions, you know, things that I didn't answer for you, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.